Hello, my name is Mark Aldis. I'm one of the physicians with Northeast Digestive Health Center. Colon cancer is the third most common cancer in both women and men in the United States. Each year, over 150,000 people are diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and 50,000 people will die from it. Colorectal cancer is potentially preventable. A majority of colorectal cancers begin as small benign growth called a polyp. Polyps can be removed during a colonoscopy. There are a variety of colon cancer screening tests that are available for people to choose from. The tests which are most commonly used include colonoscopy, FIT test, and the Cologuard test. The colonoscopy involves drinking a laxative, being sedated, then a long flexible tube with a camera on the tip of it is inserted in the colon. The colon examined carefully. This is recommended to be done every 10 years for average risk patients. The FIT test screens for blood in the stool and is performed every year. If the FIT test is positive, then a colonoscopy is performed. The use of the Cologuard has become more prevalent in our community, and we at Northeast Digestive have seen many patients who have undergone stool testing with Cologuard who either did not meet criteria for its use or had not been educated about the limitations of the test. Our goal for this educational campaign is to provide information for patients and primary care providers on the appropriate use, benefits, and limitations of the Cologuard stool test for colorectal cancer screening. First, what is Cologuard? Cologuard is a screening test that uses a stool sample, or your bowel movement, to detect colorectal cancer and precancerous cells. Your stool picks up these cells as it passes through your colon. Cologuard is designed to detect DNA and hemoglobin or blood released from these abnormal cells in your stool. Cologuard is intended for use with patients aged 50 years and older at average risk for colon cancer who are typical candidates for colon cancer screening. The Cologuard is performed every 3 years. There are several limitations that patients and physicians should be aware of before choosing Cologuard. First, there are certain situations in which Cologuard has not been studied and the test results may not accurately pick up significant growths. Cologuard is not clinically appropriate for the following type of patients: patients with a history of colorectal cancer, patients with a history of colon adenomas or precancerous polyps. This is actually the most common misuse of Cologuard that we have observed. Patients who have had a positive test result from another colorectal cancer screening method within the past 6 months. Patients who have been diagnosed with a condition that is associated with a high risk for colorectal cancer. These include, but are not limited to, inflammatory bowel disease such as chronic ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, also familial adenomatous polyposis syndrome, or people with a family history of colorectal cancer. Secondly, while Cologuard is effective in detecting most colon cancers, it is far less effective in detecting precancerous colon polyps, suggesting that it may be less helpful in preventing the onset of colon cancer than a colonoscopy. In 2014, a New England Journal of Medicine study of 10,000 patients found screening colonoscopy to be more effective than FIT and Cologuard for cancer and precancerous polyp detection. 1 in 13 Cologuards missed people with colon cancer. Cologuard also missed more than 30% of polyps that will soon be cancer and almost 60% of larger polyps that may become cancer. 45% of positive Cologuards are actually false positives, meaning nothing is found. Lastly, insurance coverage varies for Cologuard. Typically, insurance companies pay for 100% of screening colonoscopies or preventative service. If your first method of screening is with Cologuard, you've used your covered preventative service for 3 years. This is very troublesome when a patient receives a positive Cologuard result and needs to have a colonoscopy. In that situation, the colonoscopy no longer falls under preventative services and moves to diagnostic testing. This means that deductibles apply and it becomes a much more expensive test. Currently, colonoscopy remains the gold standard of screening for colon cancer, as it offers the ability to not only detect precancerous polyps but also remove them and potentially prevent colon cancer. As the number of screening options grow, it is important for patients to discuss these options with their physician and help them arrive at a decision that addresses their needs. The American Society for Gastrointestinal Endoscopy recommends colonoscopy every 10 years or annual FIT test as first-tier options for screening in average-risk patients for colorectal cancer. If you have questions or are unsure about using Cologuard, please contact our office at 704-783-1840.